All right, welcome to the Cherry Heat Check. I am Ricky Thompson. This is an unofficial Lobo basketball, Lobo sports podcast. Hope you all are doing well today. This being Easter Sunday, post Easter Sunday, April 21st today, Monday, going to hit on the latest Lobo sports news, mainly basketball additions, other players being added, a set of brothers from USC, a high flyer from Arizona, new coaches also joining Coach Olin's staff, and I will get into all of that. Where I wanted to start today, though, is with Lobo Athletics partnering with Nusenda Credit Union to have an official credit union sponsor through the year of 2029. There will be a nice logo out there that some people might have seen at the spring football game this past weekend on the 25-yard line, and it will stay there, I'm guessing, until 2029. Fantastic partnership for Fernando Lobo and crew to bring to the athletics department, and I think this should be just the beginning of these type of sponsorships if the athletic department wants to find other money long term, because as I mentioned here, and as we know, the budget of UNM athletics sits at the bottom of the Mountain West Conference, just above San Jose State and below everyone else dollar wise. Just receiving $11 million from the state government to renovate the stadium will definitely help Fernando Lobo, and he spoke about it on the Albuquerque Live show with Jeff Grammer and Sean Ryder before the spring game, saying that he and the UNM athletic department, the school, need to match the fans' enthusiasm and give them a reason to be coming to the football stadium, provide some type of entertainment or venue that makes people want to go there. And I think it would start, obviously with the concourses, the concessions, and just being able to make it more accessible for people. But I also think something has to be added to draw fans in, whether it's promotions, whether it's having a cool area for kids and families, like they have at some baseball parks where kids can throw baseballs, hit the ball, have a jungle gym, whatever it is. Make it a place that people want to come, and it sounds like Lobo wants to do that. He also mentioned he'll be reaching out to fans to get ideas on how that money, the $11 million slated for stadium renovations, should be used. But after he spoke, there was a clinic put on for children by UNM football and Coach Jason Eck, where kids of all ages could go out there and learn from the Lobos. They were tackling dummies, doing blocking and run drills, and looked like a lot of fun. So you got to love the way Coach Eck and this team is engaging with the community. Something I can't say I was aware of Bronco Mendenhall ever doing anything of the sort. So this is very cool to see. And as someone who attended Lobo football camps a little bit older when I was in high school, brought back a few memories. But the coaches that I had at Lobo football camps were a little rougher on us than they were being on these kids. So that was good to see. After the clinic, there was actually some type of scrimmage between the offense and defense of the Lobos, with the defense winning 32-23. The portal for football is currently open, the window right now. A few Lobo players have decided to exit. They will be looking for another quarterback to add, according to Sean Ryder and Coach Jason Eck. So we will see who the Lobos giveth and who they taketh in the football portal. Other news that came out after that game was Luke Drizwicki earned a scholarship, this being his fourth year on the team, starting the last 2 seasons at kicker. I believe only missing 2 extra points over the past 2 years. Has to be tough to be a kid not on scholarship, not getting any of that money when a lot of other guys on the team are. So hats off to him for earning that. and also looks like he earned a big hammer from Coach Jason Eck as a prize. Hopping over to hoops, one of my favorite big men now in Lobo history, NJJ, Nelly Jr. Joseph, plays big again in the pit, meaning the Portsmouth Invitational Tournament, which was a tournament for seniors from the college level looking to play professionally next. He was named MVP, scoring over 17 points a game, having over 7 rebounds a game, shooting almost 68% from the field, and also averaging over 1 block and 1 steal a game. Just the ascent that we've seen Nelly been on since he arrived in Albuquerque in 2023 has been something to really marvel at. When he arrived in Albuquerque, he was having trouble, just catching the ball, let alone knowing what to do with it once he got it. And we all know his story coming over late due to visa issues from his home country to New Mexico and, barely having any time to prepare for the 2023-24 season. Really saw him take off in 24-25 in the absence of JT Toppin. Nelly became the best center in the Mountain West. His confidence, just continued to grow. And every time he catches the ball now, he just has an automatic move. And if the first move gets shut down, he knows his second move or a counter for that. And he's scoring at will at the college level right now against other seniors in this tournament. Really a thing of beauty. Just have to wonder how a player of his size and his, really shooting ability not being much further than 15 to 20 feet, proven at this point. He says he can shoot the three, and I believe he can, but at this point we haven't seen it in a real game. It's going to be hard for him probably to make an NBA roster. Fully expect him to be on a summer league team for the NBA, maybe, the G League next year as well. And if not there, he can make good money playing in another country, I'm sure, because his game is going to continue to grow. His decision making has improved greatly, and you have to think that's a lot with the development under Coach Patino, Coach Chu, and the whole staff. Coach Dave that was there yelling and screaming at Nelly every time he got the ball. The work they did, the confidence they built into him is really showing, and it's just fantastic to see. So hats off to Nelly. A littler guy that will now be joining the Lobos that can fly, Uriah Tennant, will be joining Coach Eric Olin at UNM after previously committing under Coach Olin at UCSD. Uriah Tennant stands at only 5'10", probably has a 40-inch vertical or higher, and is a God-given scorer on the basketball court. Also played quarterback at Prescott High School in Arizona. Just a fantastic athlete that makes up for his, small size with just his athletic ability and toughness. Getting rebounds, flying to the hoop, and putting his body on the line is something you'll see in all of his high school mixtapes. Also, the ability to throw down a 360 dunk in a game at the height of 5'10" is not something you see, too regularly. A lot of people have been quick to compare him to a Jalen House, I think due to the shaggy hair and the shorter height. I don't really think that's a good comparison at this point. Jalen House was a bit taller, I think at about 6'1", and was a 4-star recruit out of high school, going to ASU first before UNM. And I think their type of game at this point is quite different, with Tennant, really being a scorer, and House being more of a defensive disruptor at, where they were at this point in their career at incoming freshmen. Tennant was also recruited by Northern Arizona as well as UCSD, so not highly recruited, but a very tough kid, obviously playing quarterback at a high level in high school as well, and really excited to see, hopefully if this young man hangs around more than 1 year, what he can do long term. But I think immediate impact might be a player off the bench that brings energy and could get bigger minutes if the Lobos don't end up in adding any, more well-proven guards. We will see. Other 2 players Lobos added last week were the brothers from USC. The 2 Trojans, or former Trojans, were Kevin Patton Jr. and Kalai Patton Jr., or not junior, just Kalai Patton. Kevin Patton Jr., the more well-known player, um, played only 8 minutes a game this past season at USC, where he was kind of buried behind bigger names. He's a 6'8" player with, guard talent that can play on the wing, could possibly play down low a little bit as well if there's a smaller post. Um, Played at the University of San Diego for his freshman year, where he really did, fantastic, almost averaging 10 points a game, over 4 rebounds, was named to the West Coast Conference all freshman team, also averaging over 1 steal and 1 block a game. So big time defender, long guy with freakish athletic ability, able to catch alley oops out of nowhere. Will fly in for a rebound putback over everyone, not afraid to put his body on the line either. And seeing the athleticism that the Lobos are stacking up right now, we'll see how competitive this team is going to be. But I think it's going to be one of the most exciting Lobo teams we've seen in this, maybe past decade in terms of high flyers and athletic ability. Obviously, everyone's athletic in Division One, but I'm just talking about the vertical leap of Kevin Patton, his brother Kalai. You add a Uriah Tennant, we could have a dunk contest of mass proportion if we're going to do a scrimmage before the season, hopefully this year. Along with Kevin Patton, his brother is Kalai Patton, who redshirted last season at USC. Played high school basketball in Arizona, had a previous relationship with the Jovan Milicevic, True Washington, who he mentioned he spoke to in a conversation he had with Jeff Grammer of the Albuquerque Journal, saying he wasn't too familiar with Albuquerque, but heard great things about the pit and the fans, of course. So hoping Kalai can really bloom as well. And standing at 6'4", would think, he can mix it up on defense and maybe playing a role in the guard rotation as well. Old news from last week, one of the few players that was still on the roster, Cade Dotson, will be moving on to Loyola Marymount of the West Coast Conference. Cade had a nice season, didn't play big-time minutes, but showed that, he already had the Division One muscles and body and three-point shot to contribute. Just wish him the best as he develops, and enjoyed his time as a Lobo. Someone that was only a Lobo commitment-wise for a few months that I just wanted to hit on, had signed under Coach Pitino, was Isaac Williamson, recruit out of California who had decommitted after Pitino decided to go to Xavier. He will be joining Coach Josh Passner, a new coach at UNLV, new staff there, in-conference rival. This one kind of hurts to see, but we will still wish Isaac the best. And who knows, with the way things work in NIL and college sports, he could be a Lobo next year or down the road for all we know. Coach Olin did once upon a time recruit him to UC San Diego and was re-recruiting him to the Lobos. So who knows? We wish him well, except when we play him next season. So all the Lobos from last year's tournament team have now entered the portal, including Ibrahim Asako, Daniel Thomas, and as of today, April 21st, Daraje Agbosi, who actually played at El Dorado High School in Albuquerque, and I never knew that till recently. So he is in the portal as well. Everyone from the Lobos is now in the portal, and they will probably not be coming back by the looks of it. If we are looking at the current players, though, that Coach Olin has signed, I believe we are now at a count of 7. and that starting with Jake Hall, a freshman guard standing at 6'4", from San Diego area, had been recruited to UCSD previously. Um, UCSD transfers Chris Howell, standing at 6'6", Milos Vicentic, I believe he's 6'7", and Uriah Tennant, who I just mentioned, was also a recruit at UCSD. So you got about 4 guys that would have been at UCSD this upcoming season now on the Lobos, moving from the Big West to the Mountain West. We will see how that all works out. Joining those San Diego boys will be Antonio Chol, the transfer from Garden City Community College, standing at 6'8", 6'9", proven shooter and should be a big-time scorer. And I just mentioned Kevin Patton Jr. and Kalai Patton Jr. from USC will be joining as well. So what are we lacking? Obviously, still someone that we consider a big man or a post that can guard the likes of Carson Templin at Utah State and Magoon Guath at San Diego State. Some of the talent, that is being built up by other new coaches in the conference, like Ali Farouk Manesh at Colorado State, has looked strong. What UNLV has been gathering under Coach Passner has also, looked good at this point. But I think everyone in the portal thinks their players, look good at this point in time until they really roll them out there. Looking at who the Lobos grabbed in the portal last year, I think we can say that, an Ali Atiki and Ibrahim Asako probably didn't play out having the roles that we as fans expected, or probably the investors of those players, NIL dollar investors I'm talking about, um, you know, they probably didn't see the return on their investment that they put in to those transfers. And going forward, I would think the NIL budgeters would be a little more careful. And I think that's what we're seeing with UNM, as some of the other teams in the conference seem to be moving at a quicker pace while UNM is being patient. I think for good reason, as players are still entering their names, even today being April 21st, that portal window closing tomorrow, the 22nd. So players' names still going out. Lobos still searching for some veteran presence, I would believe, at a guard position, also at the post position, that I mentioned just a few seconds ago. So lots of scholarships still open, lots of players still available, guys that are looking for opportunities from bigger conferences that want to come down, prove themselves at this level of the Mountain West, or mid-major level, if you want to call it that, in hopes that next year they can probably bounce out for a bigger check. And I think UNM has to just kind of embrace this position that they're currently in, of kind of being a stepping stone for players. I don't know if it's going to be a place where you can keep a player over 2 years if he really excels. In this current landscape of NIL, the way the money is all, really at the bigger programs and what they're able to offer, whereas schools with the NIL budget of a UNM are not able to offer the same things financially. And once a player, believes he hits a certain status, there are bigger offers that they can find, but that must be embraced. Getting a player like Antonio Chol, I think, is a perfect example of collecting someone that was being highly recruited by other big schools like a Xavier, I believe Texas A&M, amongst others. And the Lobos were able to grab, this guy that had been recruited to Rutgers and played there for 2 seasons, proved himself at JUCO, and this is, the opportunity he had been looking for. And the Lobos are going to get, the payoff of that, hopefully. But it is kind of interesting to see the speed that a UNLV and Colorado State are moving in comparison to a UNM, with both those schools having brand new staffs and having to pretty much fill out a new roster as well. But Lobo fans shouldn't feel like they're the only team with a full roster to rebuild. I believe there was over 40 teams this season in college basketball where they lost every single player that was on their team the previous year. And that's not just small schools. Even a school like Baylor, lost its entire roster to the portal and quickly refilled it. So, I think there's still a lot of time, obviously, and the roster will eventually be filled out. But with who and what type of quality of players at this point in time is really the question. The Kentucky, the Auburn, the Michigan State level schools with the big budget and the Power Four conferences are shopping at, the Nordstrom, the Macy's of players, where the Lobos right now might be shopping at TJ Maxx and Ross of players to try to find those value bargains that have been overlooked by others and have kind of been handed down so they can get scooped up by someone that wants to give them the opportunity. So have to think with the other staff the Lobos have also added. That being Coach Mike Roberts, Coach Michael Wilder, two guys with a lot of different experience, but great experience. Coach Michael Wilder coaching under Russ Turner at University of California, Irvine for, I believe, 11 years, racking up 8 21 seasons and 2 31 seasons while Coach Michael Wilder was there. Defensive-minded coach that will be joining Coach Mike Roberts. And Coach Roberts has basketball experience for days, coaching under Coach Bobby Knight at Texas Tech, also played at Indiana, coached at Indiana, coached at Cincinnati, and just has a wealth of experience on the defensive end that he will be bringing in. Would also have to hope these guys are high-level recruiters as well. They will be rounding out that staff there under Coach Olin. That includes Tom Tankowitz, Sam Stapleton, Mikey Howe, Coach Olin, and now Mike Roberts and Michael Wilder becoming Lobo coaches. So let's hope that they are hitting the phones, hitting the Zoom chats, trying to talk to the likes of a Dayton Albury or another veteran guard that is still available out there. We will keep our eyes peeled and our ears open for any new portal news coming in for this team. Also looking forward to catching up on some more football news in the future. I might do something separate for that, but we're all locked in on basketball and going to continue to reach out to people and see what we can find about portal entrants coming to the team, and we'll share it with everyone here as soon as we get them. Would like to thank everyone for listening and following the show. Share it with anyone if you've enjoyed it, and go ahead and have a good week out there. Thank you.